Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sid's Little Corner of the Internet. This is Sid Sr. speaking, and we're bringing you another Transformers review. This time around, we're going to be taking a detailed look at the Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron Core-Class Megatron. So as we always do, let's bring that packaging in and take a look at that. Move Megs out of the way. So you have the War for Cybertron K13 right up there at the top. Really nice Megatron artwork. Of course, this is Megatron, as evidenced by the name right there on the front. Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron, ages 8 plus Hasbro. Transformers Authentic, Transformers War for Cybertron. On the back, you have your product shots, you have all your warnings, and you have the sad baby. On the side, you can see it is a core class. And on the bottom, you have the UPC and some recycling information if you care to take a look at that. So that's it for the packaging. Let's take a look at what came in there. Let's move Mr. Megatron back in. And of course, as we always do, first thing, useless paper. But there it is, you get it. You also get the instructions. There you go. And the only accessory that he comes with is this pistol. Really not a bad looking pistol here. There's no paint apps on it, not a lot of detail, but for being a core class accessory, this thing is pretty decent. And credit where credit is due, it's straight, unlike Mr. Optimus Prime's rifle, which was crooked in two directions, at least on my copy. So yeah, pretty nice, all things being equal. So let's go ahead and we will bring Megatron in for his close-up and take a look at those details and articulation. So right off the bat, let's take a look. That is a nice head sculpt. Again, we're talking about a core class figure here. This thing is not very big. So, you know, to get that level of detail on that face sculpt and to get those red eyes in there, that looks really, really good. That chest looks great. The Decepticon insignia looks good. You got all the abdomen detail that's painted in there. You've got that nice silver with the reds and the blues. You've got a little bit of yellow down there, which is nice. There's the crotch and the upper legs. Lower legs, good molded in detail here. You do have the tank treads that are painted in silver. You have those just on the backpack as well. And then here up at the arms, good detail in the arms. Painted fists. There he is from the back. So yeah, overall for a small figure, this guy looks really good. Very well done as far as the sculpting and the paint on this guy. So let's go ahead and talk about that articulation. His head is on a mushroom peg, so you're not going to get any up and down or side to side, but you do get a full 360 if you choose to do that. And for the arms, because of these shoulder pads sticking up, you do have limited range of motion, but the shoulders are on a ball joint, so you can bring it up that far. And you can't get all the way around. I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to stretch his arm all the way out, but that doesn't really count. So really bringing his arms forward, you're going to get about that far. And bringing his arms back, you're going to get maybe that far before you really start running into the tank treads. So limited articulation in the arms, only due to the geometry of the rest of the components. The ball joint would allow you a full 360. So on the elbow, you do get 360 degrees of bicep rotation, and you get right at a 90 on that elbow bend. Now on this left arm or left fist, you don't have any other articulation, so that's just fixed in place. However, due to the transformation, over here, you do get wrist rotation. So if you wanted to rotate that wrist around and do something, you could. Now, again, this is in there for the transformation, but if you wanted to take advantage of it for some posability, hey, it's there. So something else that he has, which is nice, is the waist rotation. So you can go all the way around with him. And for the hips again, they're on ball joints, so you can come out, and he does get the full splits not quite a Van Dam. If he maybe went a little bit beyond, I could call it the Van Dam, but this is still pretty good. And he can kick forward that far, kick back that far, and he gets right at 90 degrees for a knee bend. So overall, really not that bad. Now, at the feet, he does not have any articulation. There's no ankle tilt. There's no moving of the foot. However, if you want to take advantage, again, of the transformation joints, you can. What you can do with this guy, and I was playing with him and this is a little fun, is you can actually disconnect the tab and slot that holds his leg together. You can do that on both sides, and this actually gives you a very wide range of motion for that ankle. So, I mean, you could do it subtly. So you could have, maybe something like this, where you could still get a nice pose out of him and it doesn't look that bad. Or if you wanted to enter him into a sumo match, you could get something like this going on, which is which is pretty cool, or if he's going to do some kind of a dance. So it's really up to you. But having that additional transformation joint right there is really fun. That it makes this guy unintentionally, but it makes him a lot of fun for posability. All right, so put those back in. Now let's talk about his one and only accessory. The fusion cannon is not an accessory as far as I'm concerned because it's fixed onto his body. It's not something that you can take on or take off and put back on. So as far as the accessory goes, obviously, he has this post here that will fit into either one of his hands. So you could give him his weapon, and now he's got, with the fusion cannon, he's got boom boom and then pew pew over here. So a little boom boom, a little pew pew, if you wanted to do something like that. You also have weapon storage for this pistol, and one thing that I like about that is it gives an homage. Again, I don't know if this was on purpose, but it's just something that I see. It gives an homage to the G1 Megatron. So if you look back here, you have these two posts, and you can plug that gun in, and if you plug it in on this side, and you look at him from the front right there, tell me that doesn't look like a G1 homage. I think that is really cool. I like that. So I would, on my shelf, I will be displaying him with the gun in stored mode just because it gives that G1 look, which is really cool. All right, now, as far as effects compatibility goes, his effects compatibility is limited, but again, as I mentioned in the Starscream review, he's got it where it counts. So if you look right here in this fusion cannon, which you should never look directly down the barrel of a fusion cannon, bad things could happen, but hey, this time we're going to do it. But if you look right down that fusion cannon, you can see that that's a 5mm port right there. And what do we have here? Oh my, we have some effects parts. So yes, you can give little core megs some big boom effects action. Excellent, excellent. Love it. So yeah, hey, that's about the only place to plug an effect part in, but that's where it counts. So really good stuff. I really like that. All right, and of course, you're limited, or you're not limited, I should say, to how crazy you want to get. It's really all how much weight can that ball joint hold, right? So, Megatron does have a very powerful fusion cannon, so if you wanted to do something like that, he could be just shooting that thing right up in the air, and that's a really big boom. Or if you wanted to just be mild with him, and give him a sleek boom, I guess you could do a sleek boom right there. So yeah, overall, nice. Glad that it's there. Oh, you know what? I didn't even notice this. That one's oversized. Nope. I was hoping that would be 5mm because that way you could have him taking a hit, but it doesn't fit. So scratch that. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about transformation on this guy. Much like the other core class, the transformation is not overly complicated. It is a fun transformation. I do enjoy it. I do have one issue and I hope it's my copy. I hope it's not all the way around. And we'll show that when we start the transformation. But overall, I like this transformation. His alt mode is not my favorite, but the transformation itself is pretty satisfying. So if you have the weapon in storage, let's go ahead and take that weapon off, put it off to the side. And what you want to do for the left arm is you're going to want to rotate that 180 degrees so you have this post sticking out. And then over here for the right arm, this is the reason that you have this wrist swivel. If you just grab onto the fusion cannon, well, you can actually move the fusion cannon 180 degrees right now. So go ahead and flip that so the barrel is facing upwards. And then just hold on to the fusion cannon and then spin the wrist 180 degrees so you have Megatron looking like that. And after you've done that, just come back here, and this tread assembly, you're just going to unsnap that, and then that's on a double hinge. I'm going to try to get the best angle here to show you. So it's on a double hinge, and you're just going to raise it up like that, and then once you do, you have another hinge point right here, and you're just going to bring all that forward. So you were in this position, and now you're in this position, and then you want to just bring those treads down so you can clear this back area, because what you're going to do is you're going to take these shoulders now and you're going to fold them back. So just go ahead and bring those. They rotate at these pins, so just bring those back, and you'll see you have this post here and you have this port on the fusion cannon. So you're going to bring those two together. And it doesn't matter if your arms get a little sloppy right now because you're going to lock everything in here shortly. So bring those two together and connect them. Just press fit that in. And then before I get any further, this is what I'm going to show you. I've transformed this guy multiple times, and I thought maybe it was me, but I don't think it is at this point. If you look right there, you can see that this is up higher than this one. So if I try to bring that down, it just pops right back up, and I've got some type of interference in here, and I know it's not the easiest thing to see, but somewhere in there I'm interfering. I have a couple pieces of plastic that are just interfering with each other, and it's not letting that collapse all the way. So that's a little bit frustrating. Again, there's always a chance it's something that I'm doing wrong, but I've transformed this guy multiple times and I just can't seem to figure out what the deal is there. So I'm thinking it's a tolerance issue between these components. So all that being said, once you get these folded together and you get the post and the port press fit together, now on the underside you have these slots that are going to correspond to these tabs right there. So you're just going to bring those arms down and you're going to push them onto those tabs, and that's going to lock this turret assembly into place. And then you had your treads like that. Just go ahead and bring the treads down and slide it into position so you're like that. And then you can turn your attention down here to the legs. So at the waist, rotate that 180 degrees. And then you're going to disconnect on that double hinge where we were disconnecting earlier. Just pop that open. And now this leg, you'll see, is on its own double hinge. So now you can bring this up and you have a tab that's going to go into a slot right there. So when you bring that up and you push, snap that into place, and then that's going to align the legs up right there to make the tank treads. So do the same thing on the other side. Bring that up and then snap that into place. There it goes. All right. So you should have something that looks like that. I mean, hopefully yours isn't crooked like mine is. All right, and then the last thing that you need to do to complete the transformation is you bring in the pistol, and then you plug the pistol in right there in the port on the fusion cannon. And there you have Megatron in his tank mode. So for being a core class, not a bad looking alt mode. This isn't, like I said, this isn't my favorite alt mode for tank Megatron. You know, you still have the big old feet hanging out here on the back. But overall, for a core class, this isn't bad. So let's go ahead and bring him in and we'll look at the details in this mode. So you have that fusion cannon just nestled in between the two arms there. Of course, you've got the pistol sticking out that completes the look of the barrel. Good detailing up here, up front. Of course, those tank treads look really good, just decked out in that silver. And you do have molded in detail for some of the armored plates here on the side, which looks nice. Big old feet in the back, and then of course you can see these hinges, but there's not a whole lot that you can do about that. Looks like I have my waist a little bit crooked. There, now it's a little more straight. And then there's the side. And of course, we already looked at the top, but we'll do it again. And then we'll look at the bottom. So you could just slide right underneath and Megatron will say, hello. Oh, he's blurry. Hello. Probably yelling at Starscream about something. Okay. Now, for articulation in this mode, you do have the ability, because it's just at this hinge point right here, you do have the ability to raise the fusion cannon up about that much. And then, of course, this will do a full 360 at the turret assembly. So you can go all the way around with that. So you can get some nice tank action going on there. And that is pretty much it for the articulation for this mode. You know, you don't have any wheels down here. Nothing else, typically nothing else on a tank is going to move anyway. So everything you have is going to be in this turret assembly, which overall does pretty well. Now, what I like to do with this guy is I like to take this off, and then we can bring in our effects again, and then we could just have some sweet, booming tank explosion action. That is great. That is so much fun. I like that. So, you know, again, it's the only point for effects compatibility, but man, they nailed it. If they were going to put in a point for effects compatibility, that's the right place to have it. So, bravo, well done there. Unfortunately, when you do that, there's nowhere to store the gun in the vehicle mode. So just be aware, if you're going to display him in his alt mode with an effect part, you're going to have to find somewhere to put this gun. So just something to keep in mind. All right, so for comparisons in this mode, I'm only going to bring one in. It's the only other tank for the Kingdom line. And we'll bring him in so we've got a point of comparison. So let's bring in Mr. Warpath. So there you go. Kind of a side-by-side between Deluxe Warpath and the Core-Class Megatron. Show those guys from the back. And from the left side. And from the front. So really, with this guy being a core class, I mean, Warpath is small anyway, so with this guy being a core class, size-wise, they almost pull it off. I mean, obviously, it's not to scale, but with a little bit of imaginative play, you know, you could have both these guys out on the battlefield going at it. So, but yeah, pretty nice. Now, let's go ahead and we will transform Megatron back into his robot mode, and then we'll bring in the other guys for the comparisons. So the first thing you do, go ahead and take that gun out of the barrel. And once you do that, then you can go ahead and open, or when I say break the legs, I don't mean break the legs. I just mean break them open at this point. And then when you do that, you're going to disconnect this slot and tab right there. And then again, being on a double hinge, just slide that leg down, push it in until he snaps in place, Do the same thing on the other side. Bring that down, push it in until it snaps in place. And that was a quiet snap. Sorry if you didn't hear it. I felt it more than heard anything. And then you move that waist 180 degrees. And you have his legs done. So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and grab these treads, pull them out and down so they're positioned like that. So that way it provides clearance for when we swing these shoulders back over. And then down here, disconnect those arms, the slots in the arms from those tabs, and pull apart the fusion cannon, the port and the post, and then you can just swing those arms back around. And of course you have these tabs right there that are going to go into those slots right there. Plug that in. And now what you can do is you can collapse this backpack, bring that on back, put it in place, squeeze all that together, and then you've got everything compacted up back there. For the left arm, bring that around 180 degrees. For the right arm, rotate that wrist 180 degrees, and then rotate the fusion cannon around. And there you have Core-Class Kingdom Megatron back in his robot mode. So pretty easy and a fun transformation. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll give him his gun in the way I'm going to display him. I just love that look. I think, you know, for just a kind of a callback to the G1, it just looks really cool. I like that a lot. All right, so let's go ahead and do our comparisons. And what we'll do for the first comparison, I'm just going to bring in the only other Kingdom Megatron that we have in the line so far. So this isn't even a comparison as much as it's just two Megatrons hanging out. So you can see a size difference there between the core class and the leader class. So it's a pretty significant size difference. All right, so let's move Barney on out of the way. And then the next thing that we'll do, again, just kind of for a fun factor, let's go ahead and we'll bring in a couple of Megatrons from other lines that turn into tanks. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll bring in the Bayverse Studio Series Megatron with the old tank tread feet. Try to get them a little more side by side. There you go. All right. And then the next one that we'll bring in is still to this day one of my favorite mainline Megatrons, and that is the Combiner Wars Leader Megatron. I mean, I just love this guy. Other than his shoulders right here, man, he just comes together and he looks good. This is just a good looking figure. So there you have those two together, just a couple of tank Megatrons hanging out. All right, let's move him on out of the way. And then what we will do is we will bring in the Siege Megatron. Set those two together and see how they look. I think that looks pretty good together. Again, kind of a father-son outing. Go out and conquer some planets. Get all the energon, take everybody's resources, cackle about it. All right, so what we'll do, I'll put him off to the side first, and then we'll bring in, just for another point of comparison from Kingdom, we'll bring in the Optimus Primal. And move him over here. And then we'll bring in the other core class guys so you can see how they all stack up against each other. So let's go ahead and bring in core class Starscream. We'll bring in the core class Prime. And I'll tell you what, these two, actually these three all look really good together. But these two, that right there is a lot of fun. I mean, I could just see putting those guys in your pocket, taking them anywhere you wanted to go, having a little bit of fun, imaginative play almost anywhere. Just really nice figures. And then we will bring in Vertebrake. And last but not least, bring in Rat Trap. So there you go. That is the core class that I have so far. Bringing those in for some nice comparisons. And just for fun, let's bring in Megs and Optimus Primal. And that's a good look. Okay, so guys, my final thoughts on this guy. I like him. I thought when the core class was first announced, I didn't think I was going to like him. I thought it was going to be essentially another reissue of the Legends class figures, but I am continually surprised by the level of engineering and the level of quality, the paint apps, the effects compatibility, and everything that comes with these guys. So I am almost completely 100% bought in on this core class. These guys are a lot of fun. So my recommendation here is for $10 US, you could have, if nothing else, have the trio right there. Oh yeah, no doubt. These guys are so much fun packed into such a small package. So yeah, 100%. If you can find them, or find Megatron, any of them for that matter, pick him up. Pick them up. They're a lot of fun. So yeah, no hesitation on my part. Grab these guys and have some fun with them. There's a great opportunity there to really have a nice collection of smaller figures with these core class. So with that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. That's the end of the review. I would ask if you like what we do here. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, hit that alert button. We're going to keep cranking these videos out. If you're watching us on Rumble, rumble.com or the Rumble app, give us a rumble over there and be sure to subscribe there as well. And no matter where you're watching, feel free to leave us some comments. Let us know what you'd like to see. Let us know what we could be doing better. We want to keep improving this channel. We're going to keep pushing content out, so we hope you guys are along for the ride. And with that, I'll wrap it up and I'll say thank you for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.